What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the new ADS idle sway changes. So if you guys have seen my other video, it's one of the biggest videos ever on my channel. I talked about the issues with just how aim feels in Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, and Warzone. And I kind of tried to cover what I thought was causing that, because I don't actually think it's like an input issue. A lot of people think it was an actual issue with the keyboard and mouse input. I don't think it's that. I think it's just a bunch of game mechanics that have stacked up over time to make it feel really imprecise and just not very accurate. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it down below, but that is the video that I think actually sort of caused these changes to happen in game. So that is a really cool feeling, to feel like I can actually, influence the game and cause positive change to happen. Obviously, the only reason they saw it is because you guys supported, you watched the video, you shared it. A bunch of bigger streamers and content creators also covered it, and so appreciate you guys. Thank you for all of that. But let's talk about this a little bit. So if you remember that video, the first issue I talked about was just ADS idle sway. So when you ADS in, idle sway was happening the whole time. So I can actually demonstrate this with snipers, because snipers have not gotten the new change yet. So let's jump in the game and I'll show you. All right, so jumping in game, this is the sniper. This is what used to happen when you'd ADS. So you can see I've got my crosshair directly on the head of this target out there at 25 meters, and when I ADS, you can see that it's swaying to a point where you don't expect it to be. So when you ADS in, the sway is happening the entire time, and you don't know at what point in that sway you're going to be when you ADS, which can make you miss shots. So that is just a weird inconsistency, and what I suggested in the video is that it should start from the center point and then move out from that. And it turns out that that is pretty much exactly the change they made. So if I swap over here to an assault rifle, so I've got the SVA 545, and I'm zoomed in. So like I said, those changes haven't made it to snipers yet, but they have made it to the rest of the weapons. So looking at the, aiming right at the head of this target, if I ADS in, it starts in the exact spot that your crosshair should start now. So you can see it kind of still has to snap into position, but at least it is starting exactly where your hipfire crosshair is, which is a huge win. It's just going to be really nice for consistency, and you can see it kind of just speeds up and ramps up over time now. So if I stay ADS in, it's going to start and get back to the sway that we expect, that we've had before. So right when you first ADS in, there's nothing, and then over time it ramps up and you get the sway. So looking what it actually says here in the patch notes, it says that ADS idle sway now initiates shortly after aiming down sight, rather than immediately, introducing a delay to the sway curve that is generally about 5 milliseconds long, but varies by weapon. So that is exactly what we just saw in game. It takes a little bit for it to actually start the sway, and then the second point here says that after the initial delay, ADS idle sway now generally gradually increases over a 3-second period before reaching peak speed, rather than beginning at full speed upon aiming down sight. So that's also what we saw in game. Matches exactly what I can see. So it starts with no sway at all, right in the center where you're expecting, and then it slowly ramps up to the full idle sway that we expect. And then it also says, ADS idle sway now consistently begins from the position of the player's hipfire crosshair, which is, again, what we saw. And I don't know why this change didn't make it to snipers. I hope that it's coming, because I think snipers are one of the weapons that need this the most, because they're such a precise... they have to be perfect. Like when you ADS in, you have to be where you expect to be with a sniper, or you're just going to miss shots, which is why in the past, getting idle sway attachments was really important for quick scoping and things like that. Like back in the Kar 98 days, even in Modern Warfare 19 and Warzone 1, the same effect was there, and that is why stacking idle sway attachments was actually really good in that game as well. But yeah, I hope to see this come to snipers, but either way, it's going to make specifically mouse and key aim. So this is obviously benefiting everyone. This isn't just a change for, for mouse and key. It's going to benefit everyone, but because mouse and key is such a precise, raw input device compared to a controller, you can feel these things way more on mouse and key. And, mouse and key definitely needs some love. So love to see this. I think it's going to be just a hugely positive change for everyone involved. So they did address the idle sway, as we just covered, but if you watched my other video on aiming, two of the big ones that I think are a big part of what makes the gunplay feel a little off in this game is I called it aiming reticle shift, where when you aim to one direction, the reticle shifts off the center of the screen to that direction. So you can see it as I'm doing this here, just aiming left and right. The reticle, the actual spot the bullet goes, shifts away from the center of the screen when I do that. So that has not been addressed. That was not part of this update. And then the other one was strafing. So I call this strafing reticle shift, and I think this is actually one of the really big ones. The reticle shifts away from the center of the screen when you strafe. So if you add both those effects together, if you strafe left and aim left, you can get these huge reticle deviations and reticle shifts off the center of the screen. And I think that makes Gunplay feel really kind of like floaty and weird. It just doesn't feel super crisp. So those were the other two things. You can also see it when you crouch. So when I crouch like this, you can see it. It's like the gun has weight almost, and it just like shifts the reticle way off the center of the screen. So I would still love to see those addressed, but I am extremely happy that they have reduced this idle sway problem that we've had for a very long time. Alright guys, that's all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to explain the new changes to how some of the weapon mechanics work. I'm super excited for this. I hope they continue to address the other things in my video. So if you watch that video, you'll see that there's two other big ones that I think would be great if they got addressed. But I'm still super excited that they've done just this one idle sway thing. This is something that I think has been talked about for a long time, and we've really wanted to see change. So I'm really happy that they have addressed that finally. But there have been a huge number of weapon changes for Season 2, so I'll get through those as fast as I can. Gotta launch into Plunder Match with my 2 computers and shoot myself a million times to get everything tested. That will probably take at least a few days because there's so many changes this time, as well as like 4 new weapons. So I'll get that done as soon as possible. But yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for all the support, and I'll see you in the next one.